Okay, this is the Pre-Algebra Unit 5 review worksheet. It's over proportional relationships. So today we're going to go through this 4-page packet and make sure we got all the correct answers so we're ready for our test. So the first two questions are about ratios, and it asks to find two ratios that are equivalent to the given ratio. So number one, we have 18/24. So I'm going to start down here, right? 18/24, my original equivalent, or my original ratio. I'm going to find a ratio that's also equivalent to that. Now these two questions, there's going to be a lot of variance with our answers as long as you are multiplying both your numerator and denominator by the same number, or dividing your numerator and denominator by the same number, and it goes in evenly to both numbers. You're going to have a ratio that is equivalent. So my answers might be different than yours, but that is okay. So this first ratio that I'm going to come up with that is equivalent, I noticed that I can divide both numerator and denominator by 6, so I'm actually simplifying this ratio, and I'm going to make that 3/4. So that is part of my answer. That's the first part of my answer. Now I'm going to start with 18/24 again, and I'm going to multiply both by 10 because that's really easy to do, multiplying numbers by 10. So it ends up getting 180 over 240. So I have two answers there, 3/4 and 180 over 240. Both are totally okay. Both are equivalent to our given ratio. Our second question asks the same thing, except our given ratio is 28/16. I'm going to change my color. 28 over 16. Now I'm going to first divide both by 2, numerator, denominator by 2. I noticed that since both numbers are even. I get 14/8, so that is one equivalent ratio. I'm going to start again with 28/16. And again, I'm going to multiply both by 10 because that is always easy to do. I get 280 over 160. Okay, so those are two equivalents for that 28/16. You guys might have different answers. That's totally all right as long as you multiplied or divided both numerator and denominator by the same number. They'll stay equivalent. Our next section is on rates and unit rates. Now it asks us to show all of our work and watch our labeling. That's very important here. So our first question in this section, number 3, says Allie earns $44.50 for 5 hours of work. At this rate, how much will Allie make for 8 hours of work? Now, we had questions like this on our homework, except we were given per hour, so we were already given a unit rate. In this case, we don't know per hour how much Allie is getting paid. We could take that step and find that out by dividing 44.50 by 5 to see per hour, or we could just set up a proportion, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put $44.50 on the top of this ratio, or this rate, and 5 hours on the bottom. Now, we know that she's going to work for 8 hours. We don't know, however, how much she's getting paid, so I'm just going to put an X there. Now I'm going to do my cross multiplying, my little shoelace method there, and you get 356 equaling 5x. Now to solve for x, we're going to divide both sides by 5, and we end up getting 71/20. So our final answer, I'm going to write it in a different color so we can see it. Allie earned $71.20 for 8 hours. We have to make sure we write in a complete sentence since it is a word problem. Next problem asks us, or tells us, Colin ran 8 miles in 68 minutes total. So how many minutes is that per mile? So this is where we're finding that unit rate. It's per 1 mile. We want to find out how long it would take Colin to run every mile. So let's see, we're going to set up a rate. Let's see, he runs 8 miles in 68 minutes. We're going to put 68 minutes at the top of the 8 miles on the bottom. Now we want to find out per mile. So we want this bottom number to be a 1, so it's a unit rate per 1 mile. So we're going to divide both numerator and denominator by 8. And we're going to end up getting 8.5 for 1. So our final answer would read, Colin runs 1 mile in 8.5 minutes. Something along those lines, as long as you're saying every mile Colin runs is roughly 8.5 minutes, would work there. Now number 5, which deal is the better buy? Now this, we're comparing per bag of apples. So a 3-pound bag of apples is $2.99, 5-pound bag of apples is $4.99. So we want to figure out per pound how much we're paying for each of these bags. So we can find unit rates and then determine which deal would be the better buy. Would we rather buy a 3-pound bag of apples? Is that cheaper per pound? Or is a 5-pound bag of apples cheaper? So what we do here is we're going to set up 2 separate rates, and we're going to do our little division. So let's see, we're going to put $2.99 over here per 3 pounds and $4.99 for 5 pounds. And we're going to divide that out. And when we divide these out for $2.99 for 3 pounds, it's roughly 0.9 per pound. So almost $1 per pound. Now we're going to look at $4.99 for 5 pounds. It's 0.998. So once we see both of our division, we can decide that the 5-pound bag is the better buy. Let's circle that. That is our complete sense, our final answer there. There we go. Okay, the next section on this review sheet is on proportions. And number 6 is asking us to show whether the ratios, these 2 given ratios, are proportional. So what we're going to do is find our cross products. So we're going to multiply 10 and 12, and we see that we get 120. Then we're multiplying 8 by 25, which is 200. Now we want to see if these are equal. Since they are not equal, no, these ratios are not proportional. It's simple as that. Since they do not have the same cross product, they are not proportional there. Okay, on to the next page. At a fashion store, Grace bought 4 pairs of socks for $10 and 6 pairs of earrings for $15. Are these prices proportional? Use cross products to decide. So it actually gives us a hint here to use our cross products if we weren't sure to use those or not. So we're going to set up 2 proportions. See, $10 for 4 pairs of socks. We're going to see if that is equal to, or proportional, to 6 pairs of earrings, so 6 on the bottom there, for $15. We want to make sure we have our units on the same level. So my money is both on the numerator, and then my pairs of earrings or pairs of socks, the actual item that we're buying, is on the bottom there, in the denominator. So now we're going to find our cross products again, like it told us to do, but we knew to do that anyway. I'm going to move it over here. Let's go over here, since I don't have enough room underneath. And 10 times 6 is 60. We're going to see if it's equal to 15 times 4, which is also 60. So yes, these prices are proportional. Okay, and we are done with that one as well. Now number 8 is just asking us to solve the proportion that they're giving us. And it actually has some sort of context, which is nice. I like these better than just trying to find or solve a proportion with no real context in there. So we have $D for 4 tickets, but we know for 6 tickets it's $72. So we're going to find out how much it would cost if we just wanted to buy 4 tickets. So we're going to find our cross products. D times 6 is 6D there, equals 72 times 4, which is 288. Divide both sides by 6 to solve for our d here. We end up getting 48. So let's say d, $48. We want dollars there since it is giving us some sort of context for our problem. And we're done with that one. Number 9. Jill and John are cutting out shapes for their teacher. Jill has finished 16 out of the 20 she was given, and John has finished 12 out of his 15. Express each student's progress as a ratio and tell whether the ratios are proportional. Show your work and explain in words how you determined your answer. So here, this box right there, we want our explanation. Incomplete sentences. Complete sentence, complete thought there. Now over here on the left of this box, we're going to set up two proportions to see if they actually are proportional. So we'll set up 16 out of 20 here, and we're determining whether it is equivalent or proportional to 12 out of 15. So we again are going to use our cross products to determine that. 16 times 15 is 240. 12 times 20 is also 240. So from that alone, we can tell that they are proportional. So we are going to write incomplete sentences and explain why. We're going to say they are proportional because their cross products are equal. And it's all we got right there. As long as you have something along those lines explaining why, then you will be fine. Let's see, similarity is our next section. Let's say Will is 5 feet tall. He casts a shadow of 3 feet at the same time that a tree casts a 9-foot shadow. Write and solve a proportion to find the height of the tree. So I'm going to first draw a picture. So I want us to draw pictures on these. This is 5 feet, and it's a 3-foot shadow. Will right there. Okay, and now we know a tree, we don't know how the height of the tree, that's what we're trying to figure out, but we do know that it casts a 9-foot shadow there. I'm going to draw a quick little tree. Ta-da. Now we're trying to find this here. So now we're going to set up a nice proportion. I'm going to do height over height equaling shadow length over shadow length. So it's 5 over x, let's say, equaling 3 over 9, as long as I'm consistent. I went from will to the tree, will to the tree. Find my cross product. We're finding a lot of cross products for these. So that's good since we're good at that. 3x would be 3x there. 5 times 9, 45. Divide each side by 3. And the x ends up being 15. So the tree is 15. So the difference of 15 is 15 feet tall. Complete sentence, complete thought. Now I'm going to have to make another video for the second part, so hopefully there's only 2 parts there. But so far I hope you guys are doing well. Make sure if you have any questions on this first part that you bring it into class before our test. We can definitely go over it, not a big deal. So make sure you're comfortable with all that we've covered so far. Make sure to watch the next videos to make sure we're grading our review and getting all of those correct, or correcting what we need to correct. And I'm going to stop this video and make the next one.